Good day, everyone. For this assignment, I developed an evaluation framework that can be used to assess social marketing and social mobilization programs. Social marketing campaigns aim to influence attitudes and behaviors, while social mobilization seeks to engage communities and stakeholders in collective actions. Because these programs involve communication, participation, partnerships, and policy influence, evaluating them requires a framework that looks beyond simple awareness or media exposure. So, to address this, I created the CAPES framework, which evaluates programs based on five key components, which are community relevance, audience engagement, partnership strength, enabling environment, and sustainability. Now, let's discuss carefully CAPE's framework. So, the framework aims to evaluate social marketing and social mobilization programs through five key dimensions. So, first, community relevance. So, this examines whether the campaign addresses a real social problem that communities recognize. And second is the audience engagement, which assesses how effectively the program communicates and motivates behavior change. And third is partnership strength, which looks at collaboration among stakeholders such as government agencies, civil society, media, and private sector. And fourth is the enabling environment, which evaluates whether policies, social norms, and institutional support make behavior change possible. And finally, sustainability, which considers whether the campaign can produce long term impact beyond short term awareness. So, together, these dimensions help determine whether a program moves from communication to real social transformation. The first component of the framework is community relevance. So, let's discuss these more intently. Social marketing programs must address issues that communities recognize as important. If a problem is not perceived as relevant, people are unlikely to engage with the campaign. So, evaluating community relevance involves examining whether the campaign, of course, clearly identifies the social issue and connects the issue to people's everyday experiences and communicates why the issue matters to the community. So, programs that are grounded in real community concerns are more likely to gain public attention and participation. This element is important because development communication emphasizes that social change initiatives should respond to actual community needs rather than externally imposed agendas. Let's look at the next one, the second component, which is audience engagement. So, as we know, social marketing relies on persuasive communication to influence attitudes and behaviors. So, a campaign must do more than simply provide information. So, it must motivate people to reflect and act. So, when evaluating the audience engagement, we examine whether the campaign, of course, uses clear and compelling messages and appeals to emotions or shared values and encourage specific actions. For example, a campaign addressing violence against women may aim to encourage reporting, bystander intervention, or community discussion. So, effective engagement transforms audiences from passive observers to active participants. The third component is partnership strength. So, social mobilization requires collaboration across sectors, because campaigns rarely succeed when implemented only by just a single organization. So, evaluating partnership strength involves examining whether the campaign includes diverse stakeholders such as government agencies, non-government organizations, private sector partners, community groups, and educational institutions. So, strong partnerships expand resources, strengthen the legitimacy of the program, and increases the reach of the campaign. So partnerships also promote coordination and preventing duplication of efforts and encouraging a shared responsibility. The fourth component is enabling environment. So behavior change is difficult when social conditions discourage or prevent action. So therefore, campaigns must operate within supportive environments. So that they mention evaluates whether policies reinforce the campaign's goals and institutions actively support implementation. So social norms are gradually shifting. For example, laws protecting women's rights and reporting mechanisms and supportive community attitudes can create conditions where people feel safer taking action. So without these enabling factors, awareness campaigns may fail to produce real change. The final component of the CAPES framework is sustainability. So many campaigns generate temporary awareness but fail to produce lasting impact. So this dimension evaluates whether the campaign continues over time, builds community ownership, and becomes integrated into institutional or policy frameworks. Programs that encourage long term participation are more likely to produce sustainable social change. Sustainability ensures that the campaign's message does not disappear after the promotional phase. To apply the case framework, evaluators can use a simple checklist. So, first, determine whether the campaign addresses a real issue recognized by the community. And of course, second, assess whether communication strategies effectively engage the audience and encourage behavioral change. And third, evaluate the strength of the partnership supporting the campaign. Fourth, examine whether policies, institutions, and social norms support the campaign's goals. And finally, determine whether the program is capable of sustaining its impact over time. So, this checklist makes it possible to systematically evaluate social marketing and social mobilization initiatives. In conclusion, evaluating social marketing and social mobilization programs requires examining multiple dimensions beyond simple awareness outcomes. The CAPES framework provides a structured way to analyze campaigns based on community relevance, audience engagement, partnerships, enabling environments, and sustainability. Using this framework allows evaluators to assess whether a campaign has the capacity to move from awareness to meaningful and lasting social change. Thank you for tuning in to the framework I created. At FMA2 Part 2, we will be evaluating the 18-day campaign to end violence against women based on the CAPES framework. See you there!